Follow the plan even when you don't feel like it, because feelings lie and discipline tells the truth. I've learned that success shows up on the days you wanted to quit but didn't. You don't get rewarded for motivation, you get rewarded for commitment. When it's hard, that's when the plan matters most. That's when character is built. So stay the course, do the work, trust the process, and let God handle the results. 1. Discipline over feelings. 2. Consistency builds character. 3. Trust the process, not the mood. Discipline over feelings sounds simple, almost too simple, yet it's one of the hardest lessons a person ever learns because feelings are loud, persuasive, and convincing, while discipline is quiet, patient, and often uncomfortable, and that's exactly why discipline must lead, not emotion, because feelings change like the weather. One moment you're fired up, the next you're tired, bored, doubtful, or frustrated, and if your life is driven by how you feel in the moment, you'll keep starting strong and quitting early, dreaming big and acting small, promising yourself tomorrow will be different, while repeating the same patterns again and again. And I've seen it in my own life and in the lives of people who had talent, intelligence, and opportunity, but lacked the one thing that carries you through the long road, and that thing is discipline. The decision to do what needs to be done even when every part of you says don't, because feelings love comfort, they love excuses, they love shortcuts, and they'll always give you a reason to stop, to rest longer, to delay, to settle, and they sound reasonable too, whispering things like you deserve a break, you can start tomorrow, it won't matter if you skip one day, but discipline sees beyond the moment. It understands that one skipped day becomes a habit, one excuse becomes a lifestyle, and one emotional decision can cost you years. So discipline steps in and says do it anyway, show up anyway, keep going anyway, because progress doesn't care how you feel, success doesn't ask about your mood, and greatness doesn't wait for motivation. It responds to action, steady, repeated, sometimes boring action, and here's the truth most people don't like to hear. Motivation is unreliable, it's a spark, not a fuel. It can start a fire, but it can't keep it burning. Discipline is what keeps the fire alive when the spark fades, when the applause stops, when no one is watching, and when results are slow. And that's where most people fall off, not at the beginning but in the middle, when the excitement wears off and the work gets real, and in those moments feelings will tell you this isn't worth it, you're not good enough, it's taking too long, but discipline reminds you why you started. It anchors you to your values instead of your emotions, and that's powerful because emotions react to circumstances while discipline creates direction, and direction over time changes everything, your habits, your confidence, your future, and discipline doesn't mean you never feel tired or discouraged. It means you don't let those feelings make your decisions. You acknowledge them, you respect them, but you don't obey them. Because obedience to feelings makes you a slave to comfort, while obedience to discipline makes you a builder of character, and character is what carries you when talent fails, when luck runs out, and when life hits hard, and life will hit hard. There will be days you wake up heavy, days when nothing seems to work, days when quitting feels logical, but discipline says keep your promises to yourself, because every time you do what you said you would do, even when you don't feel like it, you build self-trust, and self-trust is priceless. It's the quiet confidence that says I can rely on me, and that confidence compounds. It spills into how you walk, how you speak, how you face challenges, because you've proven to yourself that your word matters, and that's something no one can take from you, not failure, not criticism, not setbacks. And discipline also teaches patience, because feelings want results now. They want instant gratification, quick wins, fast validation, but discipline understands the law of process. It knows that seeds take time, muscles take time, skills take time, and character takes time. And when you accept that, you stop rushing, you stop comparing, you Stop panicking when progress feels slow and you stay consistent, because consistency beats intensity every time, and discipline is consistency in action. It's doing the small things daily, the boring things, the unseen things, trusting that they're adding up even when you can't see it yet. And here's the irony: the more disciplined you become, the freer you feel, because discipline creates options, it opens doors, it gives you control over your life, while living by feelings keeps you trapped in cycles you can't escape, always reacting, always restarting, always explaining why things didn't work out. And discipline doesn't remove joy, it creates it. Because real joy comes from growth, from progress, from knowing you gave your best, not from temporary comfort. And when you choose discipline over feelings, you're choosing your future over your present mood, your purpose over your excuses, your growth over your fear, and that choice, made daily, quietly, consistently, is what separates those who talk from those who become. And it's not flashy, it won't always feel good, but it will always be worth it, because long after the feeling passes, the results remain, and one day you look back and realize the days you didn't feel like it were the days that changed everything. Consistency builds character not in a loud, dramatic way, but quietly, day after day, choice after choice, when no one is clapping and no spotlight is on you, because character isn't formed in big moments. It's shaped in small, repeated actions that most people overlook, and that's where the real work happens: showing up when it's boring, staying committed when progress feels slow, and keeping your standards high even when cutting corners would be easier. Because consistency is the bridge between who you say you want to be and who you actually become, and without it, dreams stay words and goals stay ideas, floating around with no weight, no proof, no substance. And the truth is, anyone can do something once, anyone can work hard for a day, a week, even a month, but character is revealed by what you do repeatedly, especially when results aren't immediate, because consistency tests your patience, your integrity, and your faith in the process. It asks, are you willing to keep going without guarantees? Are you willing to honor your commitments without applause? And are you willing to act like the person you want to be before you see the rewards? And most people struggle right there because they mistake intensity for progress. They go all in for a short burst, burn out, disappear, then start over again and again, wondering why nothing sticks, while consistency takes a different path, slower, steadier, less exciting, but far more powerful, because every consistent action casts a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, honesty over convenience, effort over excuses, you reinforce your identity, and over time that identity hardens into character, something solid, something reliable, something that doesn't break under pressure. And character matters because life will test you not once, but repeatedly. There will be temptations, setbacks, failures, and moments when no one would blame you for quitting. And in those moments, talent won't save you, intelligence won't save you, motivation won't save you. But character will, because character is what remains when emotions run dry. It's the inner structure that holds you upright when everything else feels shaky. And consistency is how that structure is built, brick by brick, habit by habit, because when you do the right thing consistently, it stops being a struggle and starts becoming who you are. You don't have to think about it, negotiate with yourself, or wait to feel ready. You just act, and that's powerful because it frees your mind from constant decision-making and self-doubt. And instead of asking, should I do this today, you say, this is what I do, and that shift changes everything, because now your behavior isn't driven by mood, it's driven by principle, and principles don't change when circumstances do. And here's the part people often miss: consistency doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean never failing, never slipping, never having bad days. It means returning again and again to the standard you set, even after you fall short, because character isn't about never messing up. It's about how quickly and honestly you correct yourself, and consistency teaches you humility. It reminds you that growth is a process, not a performance, and that patience with yourself is just as important as accountability. And over time, this steady approach builds trust, first with yourself, then with others, because people trust what's consistent. They trust what shows up. They trust what doesn't change with every mood or trend. And when people trust you, opportunities follow, relationships deepen, and respect grows, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it through repeated actions. And consistency also builds resilience, because when you face difficulty regularly and don't run from it, you develop strength, emotional strength, mental strength, and spiritual strength. You stop panicking at obstacles because you've been here before, you've pushed through before, and you know you can do it again. And that confidence isn't loud or arrogant. It's calm, grounded, and unshakable, and it comes from evidence from all the times you didn't quit, all the days you kept going when it would have been easier to stop, and those days add up. Even if you don't notice it at first, just like erosion shapes stone over time, consistency shapes character slowly but permanently, and one day you look back and realize you're not the same person you used to be, not because of one big decision, but because of hundreds of small ones. And that's why consistency is powerful. It compounds. The effort you put in today might not pay off today, but it's building momentum, and momentum is hard to stop. And same goes for inconsistency, missed days, broken promises, half efforts. They compound too, weakening yourself, trust, and reinforcing the belief that you can't rely on yourself. And that belief is dangerous, because once you stop trusting yourself, it's hard to believe in anything you set out to do. But consistency reverses that. It rebuilds trust from the inside out, one kept promise at a time, and that trust becomes the foundation for bigger goals, bolder moves, and greater responsibility. Because character attracts responsibility, people give more to those who prove they can handle it. And consistency proves that, not through words, but through behavior. And when you live that way long enough, discipline stops feeling like discipline and starts feeling like identity. You're not forcing yourself anymore. You're expressing who you are, someone who finishes, someone who shows up, someone who doesn't disappear when things get hard. And that identity is priceless, because it carries you through seasons of doubt, silence, and struggle, when results are invisible and effort feels wasted. And in those seasons, consistency whispers, keep going, this matters, even if you can't see it yet. And that whisper, followed long enough, becomes a life you respect, a life built on substance, not shortcuts. And that's the reward of consistency, not just success, but character strong enough to sustain it, because success without character collapses, but character built through consistency stands, endures, and leaves a legacy long after the moment passes. Trust the process, not the mood, because moods are temporary visitors, while the process is a long road that actually takes you somewhere. And if you let your mood decide whether you show up, you'll spend your life starting, stopping, and wondering why nothing ever fully works out, because moods rise and fall without warning. One day you feel confident and unstoppable. The next day you feel tired, unsure, and disconnected. And neither of those moods should be in charge of your future, because the process doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to what you do, and that's a hard truth people don't like to hear, because trusting the process means surrendering the need for instant proof, instant praise, and instant results. It means doing the work while results are invisible, while progress feels slow, and while doubt tries to talk you out of everything you started. And doubt always shows up when the mood drops, whispering, maybe this isn't for you, maybe you're wasting time, maybe you should try something else. But the process asks a different question. Are you willing to keep going even when the excitement fades, even when the novelty wears off, even when no one notices yet? because that's where real growth happens, in the quiet stretch between starting and succeeding, and most people quit right there, not because the process doesn't work, but because their mood convinces them it isn't, and moods are tricky like that. They feel real, urgent, and logical, but they are often based on fatigue, fear, comparison, or impatience, not truth. And if you make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions, you'll sabotage your own progress over and over again. Trusting the process means you zoom out. You stop judging your entire journey based on how today feels. You understand that bad days don't cancel good plans. Slow seasons don't mean failure, and discomfort doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It often means you're growing, stretching, becoming someone new, and growth rarely feels good in the moment. Muscles ache when they're building, mind resist when they're learning, and egos get uncomfortable when they're being refined. So if you wait to feel good before you act, you'll wait forever. But when you trust the process, you act first and let feelings catch up later. And that builds resilience, because you stop being surprised by hard days. You expect them, you plan for them, and you don't panic when they arrive. You say, this is part of it, this is included, this is what I signed up for, and that mindset changes everything, because now obstacles aren't signals to quit. They're signals to adjust, learn, and continue, and trusting. The process also means accepting timing, understanding that some things take longer than you'd like, not because you're failing, but because depth takes time, mastery takes repetition, and meaningful success isn't rushed. But moods hate waiting. They want proof now, validation now, comfort now, and when they don't get it, they throw tantrums, making you feel restless, frustrated, and tempted to abandon what you're building for something easier or newer. But the process rewards patience. It says stay, dig deeper, keep refining, and one day the breakthrough comes quietly, not with fireworks, but with a calm realization that you've become capable, confident, and prepared, and that preparation only comes from staying in the process long enough, trusting it even when your emotions scream otherwise. And here's something important. Trusting the process doesn't mean blind faith with no reflection. It means faith paired with consistent action and honest evaluation. You keep showing up, but you also keep learning, improving, and adjusting. You don't quit because you feel bad. You adjust because you want to be better. And that distinction matters, because quitting resets you to zero, while adjusting keeps you moving forward. And moods often push you to quit entirely, while the process invites you to refine. And when you choose refinement over retreat, you gain wisdom, because wisdom comes from staying long enough to understand what works and what doesn't. And moods never stay long enough to learn anything. They jump from feeling to feeling, situation to situation, always chasing comfort, and comfort rarely leads anywhere meaningful, while the process, though uncomfortable at times, leads to clarity, strength, and self-respect. And self-respect is a powerful fuel. It keeps you going when motivation runs dry, because you don't want to break the streak, break the promise, or betray the person you're becoming. And trusting the process builds that respect slowly, because every time you show up despite your mood, you prove to yourself that you're reliable, and that proof is grounding. It quiets anxiety, it steadies your confidence, and it helps you weather emotional storms without losing direction. And life is full of those storms, unexpected setbacks, criticism, delays, and disappointments. And if your mood controls your commitment, every storm will knock you off course. But if the process controls your commitment, storms become part of the journey, not the end of it. And that's when you stop asking, am I feeling it today? And start asking, what does the process require today? And that question simplifies your life, because the answer is usually small, clear, and doable. Show up, practice, learn, rest properly, repeat, and those simple actions done consistently outperform emotional bursts of effort every time. And over time, something interesting happens. Your mood starts to improve, not because life got easier, but because stability creates emotional safety. Your mind relaxes when it knows you're not quitting every time things feel hard. Your heart settles when it knows there's a plan in place, and your confidence grows because you're no longer at the mercy of how you feel. You're anchored to what you do, and that anchor keeps you steady, even on days when motivation is nowhere to be found. And those days matter most, because they're the ones that separate intention from identity. And when you trust the process long enough, results eventually show up, sometimes suddenly, sometimes gradually, but when they do, they are sustainable because they're built on habits, not hype and